You can heal yourself gently, naturally, completely. You've been carrying more than most people know. Maybe you've smiled through days that felt heavier than anyone realized. Maybe you've told people, "I'm fine," while something inside you was quietly asking to be healed. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not too far gone to change. You are a person in the middle of a story that is still being written, and the next chapter has not been decided yet. Something is stirring in you right now, even if you cannot name it. A quiet readiness, a small, persistent whisper that says there is more life available to you than the one you've been living. That whisper is not naive. It is not wishful thinking. It is the oldest, wisest part of you trying to get your attention. What if the tiredness you feel is not a sign that something is wrong with you, but a sign that you are close to something new? What if the very struggle you've been carrying has been quietly preparing you, shaping you, softening you, so that you could finally be ready for the life that has been waiting for you all along? You were not born to suffer in silence. You were not made to spend your days bracing for disappointment. Somewhere beneath the noise of your responsibilities and your worries, there is a version of you who feels light, who trusts, who wakes up without dread, who moves through the world feeling capable, at peace, and quietly powerful. That version of you is not a fantasy. That version of you is real and closer than you think. Today, something in you is ready to come home to itself. And so, gently, without rushing, let's begin. There is a truth that very few people ever slow down long enough to really understand. It is simple, and yet it changes everything once it is truly felt, not just heard. The truth is this: your body, your circumstances, your relationships, and your future are not fixed things happening to you from the outside. They are, in large part, a living reflection of what has been happening inside you. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your unspoken expectations, the quiet stories you've told yourself for years without even realizing you were telling them. This is not about blame. Please hear that clearly. You did not cause every hardship that has come your way. Life is not that simple, and you are not at fault for the pain that has found you. But there is a difference between blame and power. Blame looks backward and asks who is responsible. Power looks forward and asks what you can do now. And once you understand how deeply your inner world shapes your outer experience, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You become, gently and steadily, the one who is driving. Think for a moment about the story you've been telling yourself about your own life. Not the story you'd say out loud at a dinner party, but the quiet one, the one that plays in the background of your mind. Is it a story of struggle, of not being enough, of waiting for the other shoe to drop, of being someone things simply happen to? You don't have to judge yourself for that story. Most people are carrying one very much like it. It was likely handed to you long ago, in moments too small to remember individually, but powerful enough in their repetition to shape how you see everything. A comment here, a disappointment there, a moment when you learned it felt safer to expect less, so you wouldn't be hurt by hoping for more. But here is the golden thread running through all of this: a story that was learned can also be unlearned. A belief that was absorbed can also be released. You are not cemented into the person your past made you. You are every single day being given the chance to become someone new. Picture for a moment a sunrise. Not a sunrise you've seen in a photograph, but one you are standing beneath right now in your mind's eye. The sky is soft, brushed with gentle gold and rose. The air is cool and still, And as the sun begins to rise over the horizon, imagine that with it, something inside you is rising too. Not forced, not rushed, just quietly, naturally lifting, the way morning light always finds its way into a room, no matter how heavy the curtains. As you stand in that golden light, let yourself feel this truth settle into your chest. I am safe. Whatever has happened, whatever is unresolved, whatever still aches, in this moment, you are safe. Your body is here. Your breath is moving in and out on its own, faithfully, without you having to manage it. Life has been holding you this entire time, even during the moments you felt most alone. Now, let's gently look at why so many people remain stuck, not because they are weak or unworthy, but because of something far more understandable. Most people have never been taught that their inner world creates their outer world. They were taught to manage circumstances, to react to life, to survive whatever came their way. No one sat them down and said, "The way you feel about yourself is quietly designing the life you keep attracting." No one explained that unhealed pain doesn't just disappear. It repeats itself, wearing different disguises until it is finally acknowledged and released. So people stay stuck not because they are doing something wrong on purpose, but because they are using an old map to navigate a new life. They keep expecting rejection, so they brace for it, and often, without meaning to, they help create it. They keep expecting scarcity, so they hold on to what they have so tightly that new things struggle to find room to enter. They keep expecting to be unseen, so they shrink themselves before anyone even has the chance to overlook them. This is not a moral failing. This is simply what happens when old beliefs are left unexamined. But you are examining them now. Just by listening to this, something in you is already beginning to loosen its grip on the old story. Let's go a little deeper, gently, because this is where real change begins. Every thought you think is not just a passing whisper in your mind. Thoughts that are repeated enough become beliefs. Beliefs shape the emotions you feel most often. An emotion, more than any single event, is what colors your entire experience of being alive. If, underneath everything, you believe, "I am not enough," you will find yourself, again and again, in situations that seem to prove that belief true. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because a belief acts like a lens. It decides what you notice, what you remember, and what you expect. Two people can walk through the exact same day and have completely different experiences of it, simply because of the lens they are looking through. Now here is the hopeful part, the part I want you to really let in. If a lens was built through repetition, it can also be rebuilt through repetition. You do not need to force yourself to believe something dramatically different overnight. You simply need to begin gently choosing new thoughts, again and again, until they become as familiar as the old ones once were. Imagine for a moment a wide open door. Sunlight pours through it, warm and golden, spilling onto a stone floor worn smooth by time. Beyond the door is a garden you cannot fully see yet, but you can sense it, full, alive, blooming in ways you haven't even imagined. This door has always been open. It was never locked. The only thing that kept you from walking through, it was the belief that it wasn't meant for you. As you imagine standing in that doorway, let this thought move gently through you. I welcome new possibilities. Not because you are forcing positivity, but because you are finally giving yourself permission to expect something different. Let's talk about the body for a moment, because the body remembers what the mind sometimes tries to forget. Tension that has nowhere else to go often settles into the shoulders, the jaw, the stomach, the chest. Old fear can live in the body long after the mind has moved on from the original event. This is why healing is not only a mental process, it is also a felt physical unwinding. So right now, without judgment, notice where you are holding tension. Maybe your jaw is tight. Maybe your shoulders are raised slightly, as though bracing for impact. Gently, without forcing anything, let them soften. Let your breath deepen just slightly. You do not have to fix everything today. You only have to begin releasing one small layer at a time. Picture a calm river moving through a quiet valley. The water is clear, unhurried, moving exactly the way it is supposed to move, around every rock, through every bend, without resistance. That river is not fighting the landscape. It is flowing with it, trusting the path, even the parts it cannot see ahead of time. Your life can move like that river. Not effortless, because rivers still meet stones and storms, but trusting the path forward even without seeing the whole map. As you picture this river, let this settle gently within you. I trust life. Even in uncertainty, I trust life. There may be a part of you that resists this idea, a part that says, but my life hasn't given me much reason to trust. That part is not your enemy. It is simply a protector, trying to keep you safe from being hurt again. You can thank that part gently and let it know that you are not asking it to abandon its job completely, only to soften, just slightly, so something new has room to grow. Healing rarely happens in one dramatic moment. More often, it happens quietly in 1,000 small choices. The choice to breathe instead of spiral. The choice to speak to yourself with a little more kindness. The choice to notice a beautiful moment instead of letting it slip by unnoticed. Each small choice is like a single drop of water. Alone, it seems insignificant, but drop by drop, it carves entirely new paths through stone. Let's speak now about worthiness, because so much of what keeps people stuck traces back to a single, quiet, often unspoken belief: I am not worthy of good things. This belief is rarely said out loud. It hides instead in small habits: settling for less than you deserve, apologizing for taking up space, feeling guilty for resting, feeling suspicious of good things when they arrive, as though waiting for them to be taken away. But worthiness was never something you had to earn through suffering, achievement, or perfection. Worthiness is not a reward. It is your original state, the same way a seed is worthy of becoming a tree simply because it exists, without having to prove anything first. You do not have to be flawless to deserve peace. You do not have to be endlessly productive to deserve rest. You do not have to be perfectly healed to deserve love. Imagine a quiet garden at dawn, dew resting gently on every leaf, the air cool and fragrant. In the center of this garden stands a single flower, fully open, unguarded, unapologetic about its own beauty. It did not earn its right to bloom. It simply followed its nature. You are allowed to do the same. As you picture that flower, let this affirmation move through you like warm light. I am worthy of good things, not because of what I do, but because of who I am. Now, let's talk about expectation, because expectation is one of the quietest, most powerful forces shaping your daily life. What you expect, you tend to prepare for. What you prepare for, you tend to notice. What you notice, you tend to experience as true. This is not magic. It is simply how attention works. If you expect people to disappoint you, you will notice every small disappointment and remember it vividly, while forgetting the many moments when people showed up for you. If you expect good things to be rare, you will overlook the small good things that are actually happening around you every single day, hidden in ordinary moments. This is why gratitude is so much more than a nice idea. Gratitude retrains your attention. It teaches your mind to notice the light that was always there instead of only the shadows. Try gently, right now, to think of one small thing you are grateful for today. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Maybe it's warmth. Maybe it's the fact that you are breathing without effort. Maybe it's simply that you made it here, to this moment, still trying, still open. As you hold that small gratitude in your heart, let this affirmation settle in. I release what no longer serves me, and I welcome what is good. Let's imagine, together, a high mountain. Not a mountain meant to intimidate you, but one meant to remind you of your own strength. Picture yourself standing partway up its slope, looking back at how far you've already climbed. The path behind you is longer than you often give yourself credit for. You have survived days you once thought you couldn't. You have healed from things that once felt unsurvivable. You are still here. That alone is proof of a strength you may have forgotten you had. Now look ahead, toward the peak, wrapped gently in soft clouds. You don't need to see the entire path to the top. You only need to trust the next few steps. Mountains are not climbed in a single leap. They are climbed one steady step at a time. The same way healing happens, not all at once, but moment by moment, choice by choice. As you imagine yourself continuing up that mountain, let this affirmation rise with you. I am becoming stronger every day. Not because the road is easy, but because I keep choosing to walk it. There is something else worth gently naming here. The difference between fear-based thinking and trust-based thinking. Fear-based thinking says, I must control everything, or something terrible will happen. Trust-based thinking says, I can do my part, and life will meet me the rest of the way. Fear exhausts you because it demands constant vigilance. Trust restores you because it allows you to rest even while things are still unfolding. This does not mean ignoring real responsibilities or pretending problems don't exist. It means releasing the exhausting belief that you alone must control every outcome. You are not meant to carry the entire weight of your life on your shoulders every single moment. You are allowed to do your best and then release the rest into the flow of life, the same way that river releases its water toward the sea without needing to control every bend along the way. Picture, if you can, a calm morning, soft light coming through a window, the world outside quiet, still waking up. There is no urgency in this image, no rush, no pressure, just stillness, just peace. Let that same stillness settle into your own chest, even if only for a moment. You are allowed to feel peaceful, even before every problem is solved. Peace is not the reward waiting at the end of your struggles. Peace is something you can choose to practice, gently, even in the middle of them. As you sit in that quiet morning light, let this affirmation move through you. I choose peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because I am allowed to feel calm inside an imperfect life. Let's speak now about the relationship between your inner voice and your outer life. So many people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they loved. Harsh words, impatient words, words that would sound cruel if spoken to a friend, yet somehow feel normal when aimed inward. This inner voice, repeated enough times, becomes the quiet architecture of your self-worth. What would happen if, starting today, you began speaking to yourself the way you would speak to someone you deeply cared about? Not with empty flattery, but with honest kindness. You're doing better than you think. It's okay that this is hard. You don't have to have it all figured out today. These are not small words. Repeated often enough, they become a completely new foundation to stand on. Imagine a sacred, quiet space, maybe a small room filled with warm light, or a peaceful clearing surrounded by tall trees. This is a space just for you, where nothing is required of you except honesty and gentleness. In this space, you don't have to defend yourself, explain yourself, or prove your worth to anyone. You are simply allowed to be. In this quiet space, let this affirmation take root. I am open to receive love, support, opportunity, ease. I no longer have to push it all away out of old fear. There will be moments, even after hearing all of this, when old doubts return. That is not failure. That is simply what happens when a new way of thinking is still young and tender. Old patterns do not disappear the moment you understand them intellectually. They soften gradually, the way morning fog lifts slowly from a valley, not all at once, but steadily as the light grows stronger. So if doubt returns tomorrow or later today, be gentle with yourself. Doubt does not mean you failed at healing. It means you are human, and healing is not a straight line. It is more like that river again, bending, curving, sometimes doubling back, but always, eventually, moving toward the sea. Let's imagine one more image Edo carry with you. Picture an infinite horizon, wide and open, stretching further than your eyes can see. No walls, no ceilings, no limits pressing in on you. This horizon represents the future that is still being written for you. Not fixed, not predetermined, but open, spacious, full of possibility you have not yet imagined. Somewhere along that horizon, your future is already beginning to take shape, quietly responding to the small shifts happening in you right now. Every gentler thought you choose, every moment of self-kindness, every time you release an old belief that no longer fits who you're becoming. All of it is rippling outward, slowly reshaping what becomes possible for you. You do not have to see the whole horizon today. You only have to trust that it is there, wide and waiting, and that you are walking toward it, one honest step at a time. As you hold that horizon in your mind, let this affirmation settle deeply. I trust the journey ahead, even the parts I cannot yet see. Let's pause here for a moment of simple reflection. Think about one belief you've been carrying that may not actually be true anymore. Maybe it's, I always get left behind. Maybe it's, good things don't last for me. Maybe it's, I have to struggle to deserve rest. Whatever it is, notice it gently, without judgment. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to force it away. Just notice it and quietly ask yourself, is this still true, or is this simply old and familiar? Sometimes, simply seeing a belief clearly is enough to begin loosening its hold. Light has a way of doing that. The moment something hidden is finally seen, it starts to lose its power to control you from the shadows. Speaking of light, let's return to that image one more time, because it holds something important. Golden light is not harsh. It doesn't force anything open. It simply falls gently and consistently on everything it touches, warming it slowly from the outside in. Healing works the same way. It is not usually a sudden, forceful event. It is more often a slow, steady warming, day by day, thought by thought, until one day you realize the coldness you once carried has quietly melted away. Imagine that golden light now resting on your chest, right over your heart. Not to fix you, because you were never broken beyond repair, but to remind you of the warmth that has always been there beneath the noise, the worry, the old wounds. Let that light rest there for a moment. Let it remind your heart what safety feels like. As that light settles into you, let this affirmation rise up naturally. I am safe. I am supported. I am exactly where I need to be to keep growing. Now let's speak honestly about setbacks, because no real conversation about healing would be complete without them. There will be days when old fear returns louder than you expected. There will be moments when a difficult memory resurfaces, seemingly out of nowhere. There will be times when you slip back into an old pattern you thought you had already released. None of this means you have failed. Growth is not a straight staircase. It moves more like a spiral, circling back near familiar territory again and again, but each time just a little higher, a little wiser, a little more aware than before. What once would have completely overwhelmed you may now only shake you for a moment before you find your footing again. That is not regression. That is proof of how far you've actually come. So if a hard day comes after this, even tomorrow, don't let it convince you that nothing has changed. Something has changed. You are more aware now. You are watching your thoughts with more compassion. You are catching old patterns faster than you used to. That awareness is not nothing. That awareness is the beginning of everything. Let's imagine, one more time, standing at the edge of a clear, open sky, the kind you might see just after a storm has passed. Clouds pulling back, light breaking through in soft, scattered beams. This sky was there the entire time the storm was happening, even when it couldn't be seen. Your clarity, your peace, your strength, they are like that sky. They don't disappear during hard moments. They are simply covered, temporarily, waiting patiently to be seen again. As you imagine that clearing sky above you, let this affirmation settle in even in difficulty. I remain whole. Even in doubt, my strength has not left me. It is only waiting to be remembered. Let's talk now about the relationships in your life, because so much of what we've discussed doesn't just shape how you feel. It shapes how others experience you and how you experience them. When you begin healing your relationship with yourself, something remarkable happens. You stop needing others to complete you, and you start choosing connection instead of needing it out of fear. You stop tolerating things that hurt you simply because you're afraid of being alone. You start recognizing your own worth reflected back to you by how much you're willing to accept. This shift doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't require dramatic confrontations or sudden endings. It happens quietly through small internal shifts. You start noticing when something doesn't feel right, instead of ignoring that feeling to keep the peace. You start speaking your truth a little more gently, but a little more honestly too. You start protecting your peace, not out of coldness, but out of self-respect. Picture a garden again, but this time imagine yourself tending it. Some plants need more sunlight. Some need to be pruned so they can grow stronger. Some, despite your best care, were never meant to thrive in this soil, and it is not a failure to let them go. A garden is not judged by how much it holds on to, but by how well it allows life to flow through it. Growing what is meant to grow, releasing what is not. As you imagine tending that inner garden, let this affirmation take root. I release what no longer serves me, and I make room for what truly does. There's a quiet kind of courage in choosing to believe that things can get better, especially after disappointment. It would be easier, in some ways, to stay guarded, to expect little, to protect yourself by refusing to hope. But hope, real hope, is not naive. It is one of the bravest choices a person can make, because it means staying open in a world that has sometimes hurt you, trusting that this openness will lead you somewhere better than closing off ever could. You are allowed to hope again. Not blind hope that ignores reality, but grounded hope that says, even though I've been hurt before, I still believe something good is possible for me. That kind of hope doesn't deny your past. It simply refuses to let your past write your entire future. Let's imagine gently a warm current of light moving through your entire body now, starting at the top of your head and flowing slowly downward. Through your mind, releasing old, tired thoughts. Through your throat, releasing words left unspoken. Through your chest, softening old grief and old fear. Through your stomach, releasing tension you've carried for longer than you realized. All the way down through your legs, and out through the soles of your feet, into the earth beneath you, where it can be transformed, released, let go. As this warm light moves through you, let this affirmation flow with it. I release what no longer serves me. I welcome healing. I welcome peace. Take a moment now to notice how you feel. Maybe lighter, maybe a little more spacious inside, maybe simply calmer than you were when you began. Whatever you feel is exactly right. There is no correct way to experience this moment. There is only your way, and it is enough. I want to gently remind you of something important. Transformation rarely announces itself loudly. It doesn't usually arrive with fireworks or dramatic revelations. More often, it arrives quietly, in the form of a slightly calmer reaction to something that once would have devastated you. A slightly kinder thought toward yourself after a mistake. A slightly stronger sense that you deserve good things, even before you've fully proven it to yourself. These small shifts are not small at all. They are the foundation of an entirely new life, being built one quiet choice at a time, often without anyone else even noticing it first, until one day they do. Until one day, people who know you start to comment that something about you feels different. Calmer, steadier, more at peace. You are already becoming that person. The process has already begun, even in this very moment, simply by being willing to sit with these words and let them touch something real inside you. Let's imagine, one final time, standing at the top of the mountain we began climbing earlier. The path was not always easy, but you kept going. Now, standing here, you can see the wide horizon stretching in every direction. Golden light spills across it, illuminating paths you couldn't have imagined when you first began this journey. This is not the end of your climb. It is simply a new, higher vantage point from which to see even further. From here, you can look back at the person you were when you started and gently thank them for their strength, even when they didn't fully understand what they were building toward. And you can look forward, toward the person you are becoming, and welcome them with open arms, because that person is not a stranger. That person has always been inside you, quietly waiting for you to remember them. As you stand at this new vantage point, let every affirmation we've spoken settle together, gently, into one whole truth. I am safe. I trust life. I welcome new possibilities. I am worthy of good things. I release what no longer serves me. I choose peace. I am becoming stronger every day. I am open to receive. I trust the journey ahead. These are no longer just words. They are becoming, slowly and steadily, who you are. Before we close this time together, I want you to know something clearly. Your transformation has already begun. Not tomorrow. Not once every circumstance is perfect. It began the moment you chose to slow down, to listen, to consider that a different life might be possible for you. That choice, small as it may have seemed, was not small at all. It was the first quiet step of something much bigger. You are supported, even in ways you cannot always see. Life has a way of meeting sincere effort with unexpected support, quietly arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities in ways that often only make sense looking backward. Trust that this is happening for you now. Even if the evidence hasn't fully appeared yet, you are capable. Not because every part of this will be easy, but because you have already survived every difficult day that came before this one. That is not luck. That is strength, quietly proven, again and again, whether or not you gave yourself credit for it at the time. You are worthy. Not someday, once you've healed completely or achieved enough or become someone different. Worthy right now, in this exact moment, exactly as you are. Still growing, still learning, still becoming. Good things are already moving toward you. Quietly, gently, in ways that may not be visible yet, but are real nonetheless. The same way a sunrise begins long before the light actually appears over the horizon. Your own good is already in motion, even in this ordinary moment. A new chapter is opening for you. Not because everything from before is erased, but because you are finally ready to write something different. Something calmer, something kinder, something that finally feels like it belongs to you. So as you go forward from this moment, carry this with you gently. You are not the same person who began listening to this. Something in you has softened. Something in you has remembered its own strength. Something in you has quietly begun to trust again. You do not have to have everything figured out today. You only have to keep taking the next gentle step, trusting that the path continues to unfold exactly as it needs to, even when you cannot see it all at once. Wherever you are right now, whatever today has looked like, please know this: you are not alone. You are not behind, and you are not too far gone to feel whole again. Healing was never about becoming someone new. It was always about remembering who you were before the world taught you to doubt it. Let that sunrise you imagined earlier stay with you as you go about your day. Let that golden light rest gently over your heart. Let that open door remain open, waiting patiently for you to walk through it in your own time, at your own pace. You are safe. You are supported. You are enough. And the life that has been quietly waiting for you is closer than you think. Thank you for spending this time here in this space with yourself. If these words touched something real in you, let them settle in gently overnight. Come back again when you're ready to go even deeper, because this is only the beginning of what's possible for you.